Chris, welcome to the What, Why, and How Can I podcast, sir. Happy to have you on. I'm glad we met each other online, and we can produce some valuable content to the people listening. I know your story's been an interesting one. You're a first-born American here in your family, and then you chose to go down the path. You went into the Air Force, served our country, and now you are in business development. Let's talk a little bit about what business development is, what it's used for, maybe, what your job is, and then we could talk about your story, how you got there, how you developed yourself, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, thanks for having me on the show tonight, and I'm really excited to be able to add value, hopefully, and get to know you. Really, we're gonna get to know each other over the
Yeah.
podcast, and we got to know each other a little bit before. But anyway, as far as business development, it's got so many different meanings. The way I look at it is everybody is in business development and sales. You're just developing relationships. You're developing bridges of connection with everyone
Mm-hmm.
around you. Everywhere you go, you should always be connecting, whether it's for your business, whether it's for your life, whether it's for anything. You should always be building new connections.
Mm-hmm.
That's my motto. Maybe not for you, but that's for me. And so the way business development works in most companies is they deploy it as a sales strategy. And really, I think that's where a lot of companies go wrong. That's my personal opinion. Is business development is even more than sales. It goes past sales, and it gets to creating real relationships and partnerships in industries,
Mm-hmm.
whatever you're in, that really create fruitful business down in the long run. You can make a quick sale, you can have a pitch and a tactic and a strategy to sell people on your product,
Mm-hmm.
whatever it is, and you can call it business development, you can call it just straight sales, you can call it whatever you want to call it. But there's a difference between great business developers that build relationships and can create those negotiated relationships in
Mm-hmm.
anything. And then there's the people that just make cold sales where they're just literally they're spin selling you a product. They're helping you find the need, and you might really need the product, but it's so much better whenever you've gone somewhere and you leave and you don't feel like you were
Mm-hmm.
sold something. Isn't that
Yeah.
amazing?
Yeah. We're
Tell me, like,
we're it's
seriously, you know the guy that's calling you.
I
Yeah,
was
go
saying
ahead.
it's like where the sales guy makes you feel like you made the choice to purchase this product.
Absolutely, that's
Yeah.
what I'm saying. That's to me, that's a great salesman, but that's part of business development as a greater, um, like a thing. It's a role. It is a role, and it means so, and it gets into so many different
Mm-hmm.
things. So I'm not going to define it. I'm not an expert, so I'm not going to define it as
Yeah,
one
yeah.
thing. But for me, business development is just building relationships and creating connections. And obviously, there's a product, of course. That's why I'm calling you. But we don't need to get
Yeah, yeah.
straight to it. Let's build a relationship. Let's find out.
Okay.
Let's find out if we can work together. So, um, yeah, man. And I guess you said you want to backtrack to how I got to where I'm
Yeah, yeah,
at,
exactly.
right?
So a little bit
Um,
about business development, but like obviously you didn't graduate high school and now you're a business developer and you have all
oh,
these.
no, no, no. So I did graduate high school.
Okay,
I didn't
yeah.
graduate college. I dropped out of college.
Okay, okay. So
There you
you
go.
graduated high school, dropped out of
Yeah,
college, but there was a
yeah.
timeline before you became a business developer and developed all these relationships with businesses and other people in the industry. Let's talk about a little bit about your story and how you kind of groomed yourself to where you are now.
Yeah, man. Really, I'm honestly really not where I would personally want to be. I don't think I've done anything yet. I don't think I'm anybody special. I think I'm just a product of my mom, really.
Okay.
She's a super great relationship connection person. She's the type of person that, you know, we would try Indian food on a like on a whim. And my family's Mexican, like from
Yeah.
Mexico, so we had never had Indian food. She's the and what I mean by that is, what I mean by that statement is, she was so quick to make friends anywhere and everywhere we went. She would make a friend on an elevator. she'd make a friend walking down the aisle of a
Mhm.
Walmart, whatever, and she taught me those skills. And at first, I was like, "Why is she doing that?" And then I realized 2 weeks later, we bump into that person and we find out they're a mechanic and they're going to be doing a service on our car. And now, instead of hitting us with a crazy bill and charging all these things, they're going to actually give us a break because they really like us and they think we're good people. And we built a
Right.
relationship. Go
Nice.
figure. Off of something small, a little conversation at the grocery
Right.
store. So I think she, in essence, has taught me so much more about people and relationships, which business is that. Business is all relationships. Business is just
Mhm.
connection. And the moment companies forget that, I think things start to go the wrong direction, you know? So anyway, to make a long story short, yeah, I started as a kid. I really was groomed to talk to people because of my mom, and then taught hard work by my dad and
Mhm.
mom. You know, they were both hardworking, and they didn't
Mhm.
graduate high school. They didn't graduate high school. My dad didn't even graduate
Wow.
middle school, and he did pretty decent for himself. And yeah, they just taught me everything that I needed to know to go into the workforce. And I decided to go to
Mhm.
college first. You know, I got into sports, I wrestled, I did
Nice.
all that, and then I just basically burned out and partied a little too hard, and just I had too much fun, and so I decided to go the military route. And I actually, one of my dreams was to be in special
Mhm.
forces, like that guy, that Green
Yeah.
Beret that you said. I really wanted to do that. Was like, what little boy's dream isn't to be the dude with
The
the
baddest
guns,
guy
you
on the
know, big
field.
old, the baddest dude
Yeah.
on the field with all the decked out gear, you know, like just all
Right,
juiced up,
right.
jacked, you know, ready to jump out of
Yep.
planes. And obviously my career didn't go that path. I ended up getting into aircraft mechanic for C5s, which is the big Bertha, I call it,
Okay.
in the sky. Those things are low and slow. They're huge. You see them in the sky sometimes. They got the big old tail.
They're
It's called the
usually
C5,
like gray.
C5M. They're
Okay.
all gray, no windows. I think there's like like maybe 8 windows total.
Wow.
Um, that's it. So it's pretty insane. And anyway, I got into that, and it was just a hell of a journey for sure. Being an aircraft mechanic, being able to travel and see different places, and um, yeah, learning a lot of respect and learning how to keep your mouth shut, shut up in color. That was my first dose of shut up in
Wow.
color. Like, you don't, if someone says something that's higher ranking than you can't say
Yeah.
anything back. And I was already kind of used to that because of my parents'
Okay.
style, but but at least I could storm out and shut the door when I
Right.
was a kid. As an adult, you can't do that. You have to stand there at attention
Yeah.
and get yelled at. Um, so I quickly learned how to own my mistakes, and along that journey, I actually got a chance to wrestle for the Air Force wrestling team. I got
Nice.
picked up. Um, I went out to Jersey, trained, and actually got a severe injury, and almost basically wasn't able to walk again
Wow.
because of a lower back injury. But I was able to rehab, and then I met my wife, which was awesome. And somewhere along the path, I got coached and mentored by an ex Air Force pilot that really he took me on as, yeah, like his Padawan. You know, he was the Jedi Master. He is the Jedi
Mhm.
Master still, and I'm still learning. You know, he's still my best friend. He's been my coach in life and business and marriage because he's got an
That's
excellent marriage.
awesome.
He's been married for 30 plus
Yeah.
30 something years, and yeah, like he's been my role model, and he's taught me a lot about business. Actually, he got me into the reason I developed business acumen where I could be at now in any kind of sales role at any company is that I he gave me literally a book list, and I read through it, and I won't name off the books because I don't own the rights to it,
Yeah.
whatever. But basically, he put me on game, and he got me to see the big picture of how commerce works, how investments work, how time and effort into yourself invested in the right
Mm.
pursuits will get you the rewards that
Let,
you
let,
want, right?
if we
So,
can, let's talk a little bit about that because I feel like, especially in this day and age, having a role model in your life and having not like, oh, this guy can rap or this guy has a lot of money or whatever, having a real role model that can lead by a great example, how important is that in life, especially for a young man growing up?
I would say, especially for men right now, in an age
Mm-hmm.
of males, and I say this in the nicest way, but there's a lot of males out there, not a
Mm-hmm.
lot of men, that aren't owning it. They're not
Yeah.
owning it. They're not owning their mistakes. They're not owning their career. They're not owning their adulthood. You know, you're a young married man. I'm a young married man. We decided to quit playing games and we got married because we knew that we had a responsibility in the world and we wanted to do something. We're both sons of immigrants. You're
Yeah.
an immigrant yourself, and you came to America to succeed. This is the best country in the
Amen
freaking
to
world. To
that.
me, my opinion, don't kill me for it. But this is the easiest country to come from zero to hero in one lifetime, and your kids will stand on your shoulders because you were a good example. And the reason that I think men right now, young men and males, need an example, a strong male example, and this could be the same for females. So just spin it the other way, and it's the same thing. You need a someone that's rooted in who
Mm-hmm.
they are, that carries their flag and doesn't,
Mm-hmm.
bend to the wind. You know, the winds of adversity, the
Mm-hmm.
winds of change, and they just keep marching on as long as they're doing the right thing. But the reason it's so important is, one, it taught me to have a backbone in my beliefs. Two, it taught me how to be a man and a husband. Most importantly, how to be a better son, how to be a better father in the future, and how to just be a better person in society. And it just showed me that I could do more
Mm-hmm.
than I think I can do. And the most important thing is, I see people from that have the fruit on the tree that I want to
Mm.
eat from. You know, if I want apples, I don't go to an orange tree. If I want oranges, I'll go
Right.
to an apple tree. So I saw the results in this guy's life, and I was like, man, this guy's got results that I want, and it's a good marriage, good
Mm-hmm.
finances. People look up to him. He's a leader in his community, and that's what I want for me. And the way I'm going to do that is through. Doesn't matter what company I'm at. I'm going to do that through being a good person, building key relationships
Mm-hmm.
everywhere I go, and uplifting and bringing people with me, bringing them up. You know,
Amen.
uh, encouraging you to do your podcast and continue to do what you do because you're a good young man. You're a good role model. You're a good example. You work a full time job, you have a family, and you're still putting in effort after hours to produce good content to uplift others and take the time to interview people and really like you make yourself look really intelligent because you ask questions and you let silly people like me that don't know anything talk. So you find out how little I know
No, no.
real fast.
I think we're. I appreciate the plug, but I think we're. If I may say, I think we're both silly because I'm definitely the first reason why this is happening is so I can learn from others, but then also others can join the journey. Um, and why I asked you, and some people might think, oh, why is it important to have healthy financial relationship? Why is it important to have a healthy family relationship? When in my mind, all these relationships, and if you know how to work them, they translate into your career, into your business, into whatever you're doing to support your family. Like I always preach to my siblings, like emotional intelligence. Like if you have emotional intelligence in a relationship with your girlfriend, wife, in a relationship with your employee, with your boss, like man, that can change the world for you, you know? And and sometimes many people
Yep.
will blow that off. And you mentioned how important it is in business development, and I think that's maybe one of the most the fields that use psychology and different that type of stuff the most, because you're trying to develop a great relationship in maybe 5 minutes, right? And so you want that guy to
Yep.
call you
It's
back.
quick. Yeah. And they know you have an objective. I know I have an objective. But my first objective is I want to like you. So I'm going to ask you questions about you.
Yeah,
Because if I don't like you, I can't do real good business. You're going to
yeah,
feel it.
I agree 100%.
Um,
So
and And real quick, just to finish that male
Mm.
role model thing, it's not just for males, it's for females as well. But there's a lot of young dudes that just need a good person to stand up that isn't balling out on the internet, that isn't putting out dehumanizing people or uh, putting women down, and like vice versa.
Yeah.
Just putting out shocking content, like very crazy content to get attention, to get the likes.
Right.
And I one last thing I heard the other day is we as a society have created all these monsters online that we complain about. We've liked their posts all the way to the top,
Yep.
and we voted by just views. And right now, any exposure is good exposure for some people. It doesn't matter if it's good or bad. It could be bad. I'll say a certain rapper with rainbow hair,
Yeah.
rainbow colored hair. He's entertaining, I'm sure,
Yeah.
but he's not putting anything out that is at a value add for a normal young person that wants to do something good for their family.
Yeah. Yeah. So, dude, it's crazy you mentioned this because my last post on Instagram, right? I took this picture by some random Porsche. I was walking with my family, and there was this beautiful car. I'm like, and I told my wife, "Hey, can you snap a shot of me in front of this car? I'm gonna post it tomorrow, and see the reaction I get compared to all the regular stuff we post that I think brings more value to people." And so I kid you not, it's the most popular post out of the 140 something posts that we've posted, the most likes, the most comments on it. And I think what was the it's like hard work pays off. I can take a picture. I can take a sick picture by a sick car. I didn't say it's mine. I and it just blew my mind. Like it's 1 in the morning, and I wake up in the morning, and there's a bunch of likes where when we post like some valuable content, maybe like something like this, people are just gonna blow it off because there's no that wow factor or that shock factor, and that's why there's not as many intelligent people as non-intelligent people, and I don't mean no disrespect to anybody listening.
There's a lot of sheeple. No, 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 no. You're right. You're onto something. There's a lot of sheeple,
Yeah,
and we get caught up in it sometimes as well.
amen for
We
sure.
like it's called candy, brain candy. It's junk food.
Yeah.
We don't all want to eat our vegetables, but it's like, yeah, you throw out this junk food for
Yeah.
people, and it's quick. They'll eat it.
And
It's sugar.
yeah, junk food tastes good. So
Junk
going
food tastes
back,
good.
exactly, going back to your Air Force. You're in Air Force, you graduate or I don't know if you retire, what happens? Where does that take you next?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I was in 4.5 years, and I decided to go to the reserves. I go to the reserves.
Mm-hmm.
I got into business development and farm operations, or superintendent for a farm in Dixon,
Mm-hmm.
organic walnut farming. Through someone that I knew, they basically put a plug for me. I got in,
Mm-hmm.
and I did that for five years. It was a 1,000-acre farm in Dixon,
Nice.
and it was intense. I mean, I learned everything. I started from the bottom, and got to basically operating the whole thing and running the business development and the management,
Mm-hmm.
really, of everything. And it was nuts. I mean, a lot of tractor hours,
Yeah.
lots of hours on the tractor. And you know what I did on those tractor hours? I listened to uh, tons of self improvement. One of the best free self improvement audios out there is called "As a Man Thinketh."
As a man taketh?
Listen to it.
Oh,
Thinketh,
thinketh.
thinketh,
Okay.
like think,
Oh,
and then ETH. I think,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah, okay.
something like that. It's old school English, but "As a Man Thinketh," one of the most impactful audios you'll listen to, I think, on an audio,
Mm-hmm.
because it'll punch you in the gut every time you listen to it. It'll check you at the door. It'll check your ego. It'll check you. It'll just make you look at you and be like, "Damn, am I this guy that he's talking about?"
And you probably
For
are
every
once you're listening to it.
for every thought seed sown, something's gonna grow.
Yeah.
A thought seed,
Okay.
it's a seed in your mind. I plant the thought and it grows.
Yes.
You go to sleep, you wake up and you're thinking that because I planted the seed.
Right.
And you're gonna remember the seed thing like later on, and you're just gonna chuckle and be like, "That son of a."
He planted that seed.
But we're always, but to bring it back to the career
Hmm.
thing, we're always cultivating our career. We're always planting new roots, and we're always building connections. And anyway, I wanted to level up in my career, so I looked around. I looked at different companies and I knew what skill set I had. I knew what I had to offer to any company.
Hmm.
I had zero background and experience in construction, but I walked into the office of Thunder Mountain and I just kept it real. I was like, I have nothing to lose. I'm walking in. I already have a job.
Yeah.
I'm not going to get fired. I'm the one deciding to leave my job that, by the way, paid me very significant income.
Hmm.
Um, and I'm the one that's deciding to leave the job. So I don't care what happens. I walk in, I waited. I looked around the office. I was like, I'm not impressed. Um, but then this dude came in, a project manager that I worked out with earlier. Actually, his name's Chase Davis. Quick shout out.
Hmm.
Um, he was such a good dude. I sized him up in like 2 seconds. He said hi. He smiled, shook his hand. I was like, "What's up? I'm Chris." He's like, "What's up? I'm Chase." And I was like, "Cool. If you work here, I think I could work here." That was my decision.
Nice.
So then I walked into the interview and I just kind of had I had my cojones on right,
Yeah.
and I came guns blazing. They came guns blazing. And I said, look, I'm not the most technical person in the world. I don't have a degree, but I know how to get results. I know how to make relationships, and I will figure anything out that I need to in a quick matter of time. Give me a shot.
Yeah.
And they're like, you're hired.
Dang,
They
dude.
hired me right on the spot. So they hired me on the spot, and I put in my notice and I walked away from my job. And even after I left my job, I hired on the replacement manager like a few weeks later, and hired on another guy a few weeks after that. So I still helped out the farm because it's never good to break bridges.
Oh, for sure.
Um,
For sure. No, that's awesome. And like what that kind of brings me back to is like hearing a bunch of people where, for example, I'm a student and I graduate college and they have this
yeah,
degree. Say I don't know, I have a degree and I can't find a job with my specific degree, right? And so that means I'm gonna sit in my mom's basement or do nothing with my life because there's not that specific job that I was studying for. But when in fact, like in your example is beautiful, where you take what life gives you and you develop yourself into where you see yourself in the future, and I hope this message resonates with a lot of young folks today, is because, and especially maybe in this market, there's a lot of people unemployed. Take what you have, learn what you're good at, the skills, develop them. You can develop them in any job you have. Just be the best at what you're doing,
yep,
right?
yep,
And
yeah. Make your excuse my language on this. Make your shitty job into a good job.
there you go.
It's only bad because you make it bad.
Exactly. Exactly.
Honestly, you could be in a really terrible culture job, but if you're the light, if you're the light in the room, you're the encourager, you come in with good energy and attitude, you set the tone, and people around you, you're either going to get infected by negativity or positivity in your job. So whatever you're doing, I mean, I always joke with one of my cousins who works for the state. She's pretty high up in the state.
Mhm.
She moved from Texas. She's a badass CEO of another company and came over to the state to work for Newsom. And I won't say her name. Actually, I will. Her name's Lourdes Castro Ramirez, one
Ooh,
of the secretaries of the,
nice.
and she's a beast. She's a beast. And long story short, we always joke. I'm like, if I get fired tomorrow, I'm not worried because I know I can get a job right away, and I know how to hustle and how to grind
Yeah.
in any situation. I will mow your lawn. I will walk around and pick people's trash up until they give me a job. I'll work for free. I'll tell companies I'll work for free for a month or two.
Yeah.
Give me a try. You get your money back. No, money back guaranteed for hiring.
Yeah. No strings attached.
That's yeah, no strings attached. Like I'll sign the contract saying I'll work for free for 2 months, and you tell me what you think at the end. That's going to be more received than a beggar coming to the table and saying, give me food, give me
Mhm,
money.
mhm.
It's more attractive, even if you're in a position where you don't have a lot to offer. Start listening to podcasts and actually do something about it and get on some kind of like mental workout program. If you look physically fit, you should be mentally fit. And what I find is the most physically fit people aren't always the most mentally fit. Um,
That's also true. Yeah. Um, business development. So someone's like
yeah,
listening to this Chris guy, and they're like, "Dude, this guy's on it. He it seems like he has his life together." Business development. What is your schedule like as a business developer now for the company that you work with?
yeah. So and just to clarify, I work in business development, sales, and estimating.
Mm-hmm.
So I do a little bit of everything.
Okay.
Um, but but as far as what my schedule looks like, I mean, it's really just eight to right now. It's 8 to 4:30.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's 8 to 5, 8 to 6. It's really, um, I mean, it's rarely 8 to 6 ever, but it's really just up to me to set up
Mm-hmm.
meetings, do Zoom presentations for my company, put out some content on my LinkedIn, promoting other people's businesses. If you look at my LinkedIn, it's not always promoting us.
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually promoting other people's projects. Uh, or I'm never promoting me. You'll never see a picture of me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm weird. I like promoting others because in the promotion of others, you promote yourself unintentionally.
I like that. I like that.
And it endears you more to people. It opens up more doors. It's one of my boss called this channel marketing. I just call it 360-degree leadership and relationship building.
Okay. Awesome. And
Yeah.
people are always attracted to a positive vibe. People are always attracted to somebody that's willing to put themselves to humble themselves for somebody else. And so I'm watching this video and I'm like, dude, I want to be like Chris. Chris, how do I become like you? Like what steps in life do I take to end up one, the attitude that you have, kind of the values that you have, and two, maybe the career I'm looking to, and maybe I'm looking into estimating or business or just in the construction industry.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen some really cool things, honestly, that in construction that I wish I would have gotten started in construction early. I've seen some things where guys graduate straight from college and get into being a foreman. I think the coolest thing you could do is go from getting your degree, being like the smartest kid or whatever, being all
Mm-hmm.
schooled up and humbling yourself and getting a job at the lowest part of the industry, not the lowest, because it's the most important, but at the hardest part of the job, which is boots on the ground, shovels, backhoeing, because then you get a good sense of the people. And actually, the most fun folks to be around are the guys that are shoveling dirt. They're the crew.
Yeah,
You'll have a good ass time. They'll give you the shirt off their back. They'll give you food to eat if you forget to bring food.
exactly.
Whereas in the corporate world's not like that.
No,
Um,
sir.
but it's good to like work your way up from the bottom to the top because then you know what it feels like to be that guy. So when you're at that top position, you know how to treat everyone because you know how you've been treated and you know how you would want to be a leader. We always talk about, man, I can't wait to get to the top. I can't wait to have that career that this guy has.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you need to go through all the crap. You need to go through the suck to get to success. And
Ooh,
I'm
come
not
on
honestly
now.
where,
No.
yeah, it's called success
Yes,
because it sucks.
it
And
does.
I honestly haven't really done anything successful. I don't think I'm anything special. I don't think people should model themselves after me. I'm a jerk. I'm funny. I'm
Now you're just being humble Henry
good.
right now.
No, no, no. But I like I'm good and bad. I'm funny and I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not that quote educated. I don't have all the systems in place. Like I'm not super system oriented. I'm not very organized. But I know how to get the job done. And the biggest thing that I would say that anybody would want to do that resembles anything that I'm doing. And the biggest value that I have to offer is attitude. Attitude is everything. My attitude has always been I'm not going to fail
Yeah.
at anything, and I'm not going to quit at anything. So I've never been the fastest on any sports team.
Mm-hmm.
Never been the strongest. I don't even know how the heck I got accepted onto the Air Force wrestling team to go and train and all that because I wasn't really that amazing. I wrestled in Indiana I was pretty decent, but I wasn't like this top athlete of the century where, Olympic grade. I just had the Olympic grade mindset though. Like, I'm gonna leave this mat with a concussion, and that's the way that I look at life in my
Mm-hmm.
career.
Mm-hmm.
Is I'm gonna throw it all on the line, and that's my attitude. And you don't have to have that intense attitude, but I think you need to have the "I don't quit" attitude.
Yeah, yeah.
Just because you don't get the right job, just because you don't get the job that you want first time, who cares? Apply to 50 jobs. I hear these kids tell me, "Oh, I applied to 5 jobs today, 5 jobs that I want." And I'm like, "You're cute. You need to apply to like 100 jobs
Yeah.
because out of those 100 jobs, and this is a little outlandish, but 100 jobs, you'll hear back from 25, and out of those 25, you'll get 10 interviews, and out of those 10 interviews, you'll get 3 or 4 offers."
I mean, that's true in the real world and I mean, you're not applying to Taco Bell, and even sometimes, even if you are, it's hard to get into Taco Bell. You just gotta keep trying. You know.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't know where you started, but I know that, and I did look at your profile. But dude, you gotta apply. I applied to so many jobs, and these people hit me up, and I showed up, and I was just confident, and the only reason I'm confident is because I knew I had nothing to lose
Mm-hmm.
in that
Exactly.
moment. So
I started in Papa John's, dude. My first job
that's
was
amazing. I love it. I was a pizza boy.
yeah, dude. I
So
used to
did you make pizzas?
flip the pizza dough, throw it up, and come home all covered in flour and all that. So that's where I started. But
Dude,
go ahead.
pizza boys are the most successful in the world. Have you not heard all the pizza guys that check out? There's a lot of successful people that start off as pizza boys.
Really? I've
Yeah,
never
man, you're
heard
gonna
that
be rich.
statistic.
You're gonna be wealthy.
Amen. I accept that. I accept that.
Yeah, take it.
Yes, sir. Actually,
Uh,
that's interesting. After this, so I'm gonna have to do some research on some Pizza Boys, see what kind of stats we get. That's pretty
Go.
interesting.
We line up. We line up pretty high, man. Pizza guys. It's it's a combination of talking to people, being under stress, um, quickly performing, cranking things out, and sometimes doing monotonous work. That's the type of work that pizza boys do.
That's true. Dang, dude.
You have to you have to balance all these things, so it prepares you for life, whether you know it or not.
Exactly. That's a good merch idea. Pizza a pizza boy is we'll have to make something up. We'll have to make
Pizza
something up.
boy millionaires.
Pizza boy millionaires? That's
Yeah,
awesome.
man.
Okay, Chris,
Yeah.
I'd like to. Well, first off, me and David were like thinking, how can we turn this podcast into something more than just, hey, this is info about a career. And today was I think was that interview where we were able to talk a little bit about career, but very importantly also about self development and how important
Yep.
that is in building your career and developing yourself to become a successful pizza boy. Um,
Yeah. Seriously, it's all fun and games until you make money.
yes, always. So I really appreciate you coming on and having this discussion with me. Um, if people, I'm sure there's gonna be people trying to hit you up and message you like, Chris, can you be my mentor? You guys can find him on LinkedIn. I think that's it, right? You're
Yeah, that's it, man. I don't have any other social media. I mean, really, I think you'd be a good resource. Not to throw it back on you, but I think you'd be a good resource because you have a lot of connections. I think anybody that's on LinkedIn should leverage all their connections around them and try to build relationships. And um, it's all about leveraging the network. We're all on there for a reason. We're not on
exactly.
there because, like, nobody's gonna get offended if you hit them up and say, "Hey, I noticed you're." If you say this genuinely, I noticed you're in a career that I would like to be in.
Yeah.
Your career path looks amazing. Is there anywhere I could get like 10 minutes of your time? I just have a few questions that I've prepared, and I'd like to know how I can build myself up to be where you're at.
Th-
Nobody in the world is going to turn you down.
th-
Nobody.
th-
Not even a VP.
that's a great example because when you first reached out, you said, "Hey, let's have a Zoom chat." I'm like, okay, this is for sure a scam. Like, this is so random. Some dude reaches out and say, "Let's Zoom." I'm like, this guy either wants my email address or something. So it took a while for me to catch on, and then we actually talked over the phone. I'm like, okay, this guy's alive. He's a real man. I could take this
Yeah,
seriously.
I'm
So
just I'm that odd person that if you ask me for help, I'll help you out.
that's awesome, dude. That's awesome. I really appreciate that.
And I think there's a lot more odd people that'll help you out. You just have to frame it correctly.
Amen.
You don't walk up to a girl and kiss her.
Hey, there's a
You don't
bunch
walk
of
up.
there's a bunch of videos of random guys, and that's what they get what they ask for, you know?
Yeah,
So
you walk up and you say, "Hey, man, whatever it is, I don't know, man. I was a fat kid once at the mall, and my friends played a joke where they're like, bet you won't go get that girl's number,' and I'm like, bet I will."
yeah,
And I would just walk up and be like, "Oh my gosh, like, hey, I want you to laugh. Here's why. My friends are making fun of me. They said they wouldn't. They didn't think that you would talk to me, and I think that you should prove them wrong."
yeah,
Um, and matter of fact, I really like your whatever they're wearing. Like,
yeah,
or wow, that mascara looks really great on you. Like, who says that? What kid says that?
yeah,
What boy tells a girl that their eyeshadow's on point? I only knew all these things because my sister was older than me and she wore all these things. So people would think that that was hilarious, and I was chubby, so it was kind of non-threatening. Well, take that same approach with people when you want to get help. Like, don't literally say that, but
yeah.
come to people genuinely and say, "Hey, I got onto LinkedIn and I thought that I could network, and people do want to help out more than you think."
Yeah, especially when, like you said, when you approach them the correct way, that makes a big
Yep.
difference on how your relationship kind of works out from there. So,
Yeah, no, everybody wants to feel like validated and everybody wants their story to be heard.
hmm,
Just like I'm sitting here talking to you. Everybody wants to feel like they're contributing.
hmm,
And if you're on LinkedIn, if they're on LinkedIn, they're on there for a reason. They're not on there just, even if they're on there just to, like, I guess, make friends and be popular or whatever,
hmm.
they still want to contribute. So if you ask them to help, they'll help you.
For sure. And I think the most important thing is, and I don't know if you ever heard Gary V, but the most important thing
Absolutely.
that Gary V always mentions to everybody is, look, all of these platforms are free. Use them to your advantage. So
Yep.
again, thank you, Chris, for coming on. Um,
Absolutely. Yeah, man. Hopefully, you guys keep getting more folks. I'll refer folks to you.
I appreciate that.